All right. Happy Sunday, happy Sunday, happy Sunday. It is Coach Lee, your productivity and accountability coach, here for another Sunday of You've Guessed It, the Success Starter series. Y'all know we go live each and every Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we talk about different topics that are all around the ultimate topic of helping you to set your week up for success. Because in doing the work to set your week up for success, you're also doing the work to set your life for success, especially as we wind down 2024, there we go, and go into 2025. And as your coach, as your productivity and accountability coach, I'm all about helping to transform the lives of driven corporate women who feel trapped in the demands of their job, but they're still looking for more outside of work, who want to thrive without compromising their life, without compromising themselves, and without compromising their goals. In working together, we will work through this process of kind of creating and working to create that work-life balance, mastering time management, building boundaries, helping to develop strategies that will help you to not only thrive at work, but help you to thrive outside of work so that you're able to do so without compromising your personal lives in the process. And so as we've been going through the month of December, we've been talking all about reflecting and preparing because we want to make sure that we're doing the work to get ready for 2025. And today's going to be no different. We're going to continue in that conversation and continue in that topic. But because we're also at that halfway point in the month, excuse me, we've been doing work and we've been talking about reflection, but now it's time to make sure that we're putting that reflection into action, that we are doing the work and we're not just thinking about the things. Because yes, we needed to reflect, we needed to understand what was working, what wasn't working, what did we do, what did we not do, what did we want, all those things as we decide and create the game, to use that, I guess we should say, to create that game plan as we go forth into 2025. And so today we're going to be continuing in that conversation and continuing in that topic. But because, like I was saying, we're at that halfway point in the month, we need to make sure that we take that reflection and we put it into action. So today we're going to be talking about dreaming big, but planning smart, how to master the art of goal setting so that you have an amazing 2025. Excuse me. Because we want 2025 to be the year that you finally turn those dreams into actions. I know that you've been setting goals, having these dreams, saying all these things that you want for each and every year, but have you been actually doing the work to make that thing come to fruition? Because a dream written down becomes a goal, but a goal without a plan, you're not going to get there. So you need to not only dream, but also create an action plan to go about achieving that. And so that's why I was talking about, like, this is the halfway point of the month. We've been reflecting, i.e. we've been dreaming and coming up with these ideas, but how are we going to put that into action? And so today we're going to go through and touch on three key things for you to use as you go through this goal setting process, as you start to take those dreams and turn them into action. And you know that we utilize the Lee method: look, examine, and execute to guide and govern everything that it is that we do. And so when we first like, let me see, how do I want to say this? So we're coming from the point of having done that reflection, because it's important to understand that aspect. But we have to understand that reflection is only a part of the equation. It's not the whole thing. And so now we're ready to start dreaming, to start really going about that goal setting process. And so that's going to be the first point. We want to dream with intention. The first step, i.e. in the L in the Lee method, when it comes to looking, is to identify what it is you truly want and why. So look to the side. If you now understand from that reflection point, you understand what went good, what could have gone better, where did you struggle, why did you struggle, what could have gone better, you're now able to utilize this information as you go into 2025 to decide, what is it that I want? And most importantly, why do I want it? Because in every goal, there needs to be a why behind it. And that why needs to be tied to you as opposed to anyone else. Because so often we set goals and we think these are the things that we want to have, that we need to have. But sometimes when we take that moment to pause and think about, why do I actually want this? Or if you take the time to pause to think about or ask yourself, why do I actually want this? You'll realize and you'll see that you don't necessarily want it for you. And by that I mean you're feeding into society standards. Because sometimes we have these other people who are telling us that we should want these things in life. Coaches, friends, co-workers, bosses, family members, books, like all these other things are saying that we should want these things in life. But when sometimes if we actually take that moment to pause to really think about it, you can ask yourself, what do I want and why do I want it? And so when you're dreaming, you want to make sure that you're dreaming with intention. And that intention behind every goal and every dream that you have is that why. And so once you're able to look to identify, what do I want? But most importantly, why do I want it? That why is going to be that governing point to help you when it comes to the next phase, when it comes to really examining, when it comes to that E. Because you have to have this dream, but this dream is nothing more than a vision. And so like I said, we're using this as the switch and that change to create that game plan. So if you understand what it is you want, but more importantly, why do you want it, that why is going to help you to that the what and that why working together, in all honesty, are going to work together and are going to be that governing force to help you to go from that vision to that action plan. Because now that you have this dream, now that you have this vision, you've created this picture in your mind of what it is that you want and why you want it. You're now going to be able to break down that goal into more actionable steps. Because the goal is nothing more than that end result. But how are you going to get to that end result? You have to reverse engineer that. And in looking at that process, that's why when you set these yearly goals, when you set these quarterly goals, these 6-month goals, these even monthly goals, you have the end result in mind. But what is it that you need to do each week, each day, each month, whatever the case may be, to make sure that you not only are on track to hit it, but that you do hit it. Because we want to make sure that as we're having these big dreams, as we're dreaming big, we're also planning smart. And that's one thing that I found that for myself, for this year was a lot of pivoting and adjusting for me. And so one thing that I'm working to do for myself in my 2025 goal setting process is to set smaller goals. And I don't want that to mean the opposite of the title. Like, you just said we dreaming big. I still do have big dreams, but because I'm also planning smart, I need to understand that life is full of change and life is full of pivots. And so if something has to shift in terms of priorities, what does that then look like for my goals? Are these goals that I'm going to be able to be committed to, disciplined to, consistent with no matter what's happening in life? And so because I'm going to be setting goals not only for business, but for work and also for my life, I want to make sure that no matter which area might have to take a priority, because there are going to be phases in life where everything is all equal and you might be able to, devote equal attention to each area of your life. There are also going to be those areas and those times in life where something takes more of a priority. So for example, last week I was in trial for work. So even if we're just looking at a week time, work was the priority last week. And so while I planned and outlined my content over the weekend, during the week, a couple days during the week, I was actually able to utilize my lunch break because we had an hour and a half lunch break, 1 or 2 of the days of trial, to actually go about putting up, getting my posts and everything together and putting it up. But then there were other days where I did not have that capacity. And because work was the priority, even business in terms of putting up my posts, or even the fact that I was leaving work at almost 6 o'clock each night. So by the time I got home, it was 7. I just wanted to go to sleep. And I'm looking at that on a micro level, i.e. looking at a week, but that might be something that comes into play for multiple times. Because again, for example, I'm starting another trial this week. And so if you look at that over the scheme of a month, that will be 2 weeks of a month that I was in back-to-back trials. And so work essentially became the priority for half of the month. And then when you also think about it, the week after, i.e. next week, is Christmas. So the office is going to be closed for half of the week. So then work might not be the priority, but family might be. So again, where does business fit into that? And so that's what I mean by making sure that I'm setting smaller goals, because I want to make sure that I'm setting goals that no matter what has to be the priority. These are things that I feel I still will be able to devote time and attention to make them become a reality. And even within this setting of these yearly goals, I'm also working on setting more micro goals. So when I say I'm setting smaller goals, I also want to focus on goals that are more focused on these 60 and 90 day sprints, i.e. quarterly goals. And yes, those quarterly goals do ultimately go towards the yearly goals, but I want to make sure that if I'm I can lock in for this amount of time, because sometimes trying to predict the future, i.e. predict a year at a time, it's impossible. But sometimes you're able to have a better idea of what the next 60 to 90 days ahead of you are going to look like. Like my Q1, though I don't have it planned out yet, that's on my to-do list for, for the ending out this year as well. I do kind of have an idea of what Q1 is going to look like. So therefore, as I'm setting goals, I can kind of understand what my capacity might potentially be like at work based off of things that are currently scheduled, because I don't have too many things that are scheduled into the month of March already. Like I do have some court dates that are further out, that go out to like May or June, but for the most part, we're in Q1 with like the bulk of my court dates. And so with work, I know what that looks like. With life, I kind of know what it is that I have scheduled. Like I don't necessarily have any travel plan for Q1, things like that. And then in business, I know what things that I have like deadlines for business that are going to be in Q1. Yes, some things might still be added. Yes, some things might change. But again, we have this rough idea. And so once you're thinking about, okay, I want these things, i.e. I'm dreaming big, how am I making sure that I'm planning smartly with the time and the capacity that I do have? And so that's where your dreams come into play, with planning to make sure that you are turning those visions, turning those dreams into a plan. So you're able to look at and decide, what are the action steps that I need to take to make this dream a reality, to make this goal achievable, to be able to hit the milestones and do the work to get to where it is that I'm looking to go. And so if you have created these dreams, you have these dreams, you're dreaming with intention. So you've identified what it is you want and why you want it. You decided and defined that, okay, these are the goals, this is what I'm focusing on. How can I break this down to make sure that this is the end result, i.e. the dream, the goal? What do I need to do to get to that end result? And you create that game plan. And the final step is obviously to execute. And so once we have a vision and we're turning it into a plan, we now have to actually work that plan. You have to do the work. And with doing the work, you have to make sure that you're staying motivated, you're staying on track, you're staying on task, you're staying consistent, you're staying disciplined, you're staying committed. And that's where accountability comes into play. Whether it's me as your productivity and accountability coach, whether it's you having an accountability partner, telling a friend, a coworker, social media posting, or whatever it might be, and even that self-accountability of making sure that you're consistently checking in on that goal, checking in on the milestones that you set, doing your brain dump, making your to-do list to make sure that you're making that consistent progress to get to where it is that you're looking to go. Accountability matters. Accountability, honestly, it starts first with self. And because of that, you then are able to go out and have additional accountability. Because even working with and investing in a coach to help you with that productivity, with that accountability, it starts first with self. It starts with you acknowledging that I can't do this alone. Or I don't want to do this alone. I want to have support. I want to have accountability. I want to know that someone else is looking out for my best interest and somebody else is there to govern me and guide me. Because we know we have those friends that there are some friends, I'm this friend to my friends, and they don't like me for it. But what kind of productivity and accountability coach would I be if I wasn't this person? In all honesty, is how I got to be this person. You have some of those friends who you tell somebody you're going to do something, and if you don't do it, they're following up with you. They're asking when you did it. And now, it might not be something that you ask them every day, every hour, or whatever the case may be. Like one of my friends was supposed to be setting something up. And we were talking about something randomly. And in the course of that, something close to it was mentioned. And it triggered my reminder. I was like, hey, did you ever set that appointment for this thing? And so I'm that person for a lot of my friends. But you also have those friends who won't hold you accountable. And given they might not even ask for my accountability, but I'm going to still check back in and follow up with them if I know that they mentioned something. But if they definitely tell me to check in or be accountable or to tell me they need to do something by a certain day, I'm writing it down. I'm setting a calendar reminder. I might even go ahead and schedule a text message to be sent to them to follow up on that thing. Because, y'all, us Android users, we can schedule text messages, while y'all iPhone people who feel y'all are so superior can't do such a thing. Sorry for y'all. But, there are some people who won't have that accountability with their friends, and so that's why I say accountability matters. And so when you think about what is it that I'm going to do, how is it that I'm going to make sure that I stay on track and that I stay motivated to these goals that I'm setting, to these things that I'm committing to do, what does that look like for you? What does that look like for your life? I want you to make sure that as you're going through the year, finishing out this year and starting 2025, that you are able to master goal setting. You are setting your goals for 2025. We've been talking about it this entire month and going through this process to continue to do the work, to do the thing, to get you to where it is you need to go. You have these dreams. You're dreaming with intention. You're ready to turn those dreams and those visions into an action plan. And in executing on that action plan and doing the work to show up, you're going to make sure that you have accountability on that journey. And so, excuse me, you might feel that this isn't your reality. You don't think this is possible for you, or whatever the case may be, but it is. If you're ready to make 2025 your best year yet, and that doesn't mean that 2026, 2027, all them years can't be good years, but we're making this your best year yet because we're continuing to grow, to evolve, to continue to become better versions of ourselves. It's time to have a conversation. It's time to work through this process, to put the Lee method to work for you, to look, to examine, to execute, to look at and identify, what do I want to do? Why do I want to do it? To examine, what are my dreams and what am I going to do to turn those dreams into a reality, and by making an action plan, and to execute by making sure that as you execute and you work through and walk through this action plan and this game plan, you have accountability to make sure that you stay on track, that you continue to show up, that you stay motivated, that you stay disciplined, and all of the things. Now, if you're looking to really turn this year into the best year yet, and you're looking for the support, the accountability, the help in crafting and walking through this entire process, comment the word plan. Let's talk about walking through and creating your own personal roadmap for 2025 and beyond. And I want to know if you've already set one, more, all of your goals for 2025. Let me know below, what is your biggest goal or your most exciting goal for 2025, so I can cheer you on. Maybe even hold you accountable on it. But yeah, it's been Coach Lee, your productivity and accountability coach, here for another Sunday of, you've guessed it, the Success Starter series. We were talking about dreaming big, planning smart, mastering the art of goal setting as you go into 2025. We're going to identify, what do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? We're going to take those dreams and turn them into a reality with a game plan. And you're going to make sure that you have accountability as you go through and execute on that thing. So dream big, plan smart. Comment plan if you're looking for support in going through and creating your roadmap and creating your game plan as you go through setting your goals. And let me know, what's your goals for 2025 and beyond. Until next time, it has been Coach Lee, your productivity and accountability coach, here for another week of Success Starters series. We'll be back next Sunday, same time, same place, to continue our conversation as we continue to journey through the month of December and getting ready for what it is we need to get ready for, to be the best versions of ourselves in 2025 and beyond. So until next time, guys, Coach Lee is out.